What's up, gang? Thank you for tuning in again. Here we are, another episode of Valaverse Declassified. I got another hot topic for you. This one's spicy. If you thought some of our last ones were bad, woo, this one's going to be something. But that's okay, because I think the majority of you are going to agree with me. And there's only a few that aren't. And those few that aren't are what this video is about. And I'm talking about toy resellers. Toy resellers, where do I even start? It's something that comes with the territory when you're making toys and toy collecting. And it's unfortunate. I get to see it both as a toy manufacturer, and I also see it as a collector, because I'm a collector of many lines and things. And it's just something that every year I just get a little more bitter about resellers. Everyone is free to make money how they see fit. But I just feel like toy reselling is more of a dirty business. I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts as a manufacturer and as a collector. So we'll start with the manufacturing portion of it, because, I make and sell toys. When we sell to retail partners. But, when we do, wholesale to resale partners, we have a parameter on what they can and can't sell below or above, just so that they aren't, just hurting the market. It's like, obviously, if I have a retail partner who is trying to sell one of our figures for 35 when we have it for 30, it's obviously going to benefit Valaverse, because people are going to search out the lower price. So them upping the price only hurts them. But my thing is like sold out items and things like that. When an item becomes unavailable again or becomes rare, I just find it a little dirty. Yes, it's the thrill of the hunt. And, an item is rare. You're speculating on something. I've never collected something for the value to sell. I collected as a youngster, like comic books. I collected a comic. I said, oh, this one's really valuable. I didn't like that because I was like, I can sell this. I liked it because I was like, oh, it's valuable, like treasure. Like it's worth something. It's more coveted to me. The people exploiting prices. Collecting is hard enough as it is. You don't need to make it harder. And I think toy resellers really exploit that. It started to really bother me with our Bone Collector figure. And, this was a figure that we had announced being an exclusive. I know that word alone. What's worse, exclusive or reseller? But we announced a Bone Collector being exclusive. We sold it at DFW in Dallas. Sold through tons of them. And within that day, like that night after the first day, seeing people on eBay selling it too. And it's unfortunate, because you're seeing these people in line and they're really excited about a product and telling you what a great line it is, and they're going to turn around trying to make a buck off of you. Again, it's like, once they buy it, it's their property, but it's just like, you're really exploiting that. It's like, it's the show, people at the show, we're getting it. And it's like, you're taking a $35 figure that we have for sale, and then you're selling it for $70 to $80, what they were selling for that night, because you're exploiting the fact that people not at the show have FOMO. They need it. And I just think that's wrong. I think it's wrong. It's like, you might want to make a couple bucks, sell 40, 45, but it's like the people, like the $70, $80 was really off-putting to me. And then the bloody variants, someone came and got one signed by me and then told me how this line's so great. I love this, blah, blah, blah. And I see this sold it on eBay for $500 and something. So, well, glad I signed that for you. So I had to change the way I do signatures at conventions now. And I will only personalize it. I won't just sign it. It has to be personalized. Because I want to try to combat that. It's like, I've told you guys from day one, I don't like scalpers, I don't like resellers. So it's, to me, it's like the, in the 90s, like the war on drugs. Like, yeah, you're never going to combat that. It's too big. Toy reselling, the industry is too big. eBay, Mercari, whatnot, whatever. But if I can take a little part and do what I can, maybe it stops one or two. We'll see. But that was just really off-putting for me to see that. And I just didn't like it. And it made me change the way we were going to distribute the Bone Collector. We were going to make it a show exclusive throughout the rest of 2024. And you had to get it at a show. And then when those shows were done, we would put it on our website. Unfortunately, people have, FOMO, fear of missing out, and they had to have it. So they were paying higher prices. So I said, well, I'm going to make it easier for our fans to get. Our fans shouldn't be spending $70 to $80. It's not a $70 or $80 item. They should be spending $35. So to combat the resellers, I said, we're going to put them on our site early. So put them on our site. Thousands of them sold out in like 24 hours. And, it gave people a chance to get it. We moved a ton of them, but people had 24 hours to get it. We put out social media, we let people know. But again, you're not going to get them all. There's figures we have, Wasp Raider, I think it's like a $200 figure on the secondary market. Someone told me Trigger was selling for, $200. I said, really? That figure is so readily available. So I said, I'm going to reissue it. People should be paying that. So, I don't like it. And when I say resellers, it's not our wholesale partners, not people that buy from us and carry our product. It's the people selling on the secondary market, or, we had a retail partner. We in our guidelines, we specifically say you can't sell at or above a certain threshold. And we saw this one retailer was selling our items at a convention for like triple the amount. And these were items that were on our site for retail. And I'd send a message to them. I said, we can't work anymore. We're not going to offer our products to you, because those people were getting the products at a wholesale price and then turning around and trying to sell them for triple what retail was. It's like, you're already getting a discount. And it's like, that's being really, really greedy. And I just don't like that. So, my goal here is always to make things available and to make, put you guys first. We lowered prices for you guys. Like, we want to make sure that things are easier to get and that it's not a burden like on your wallet. Resellers don't care. They're trying to make that buck. That's kind of how I feel as a manufacturer. I think I feel a little more strongly as a collector, because I collect a lot of lines. And over the years, I just see what happened, especially after COVID. For some reason, like during COVID, the secondary market on things just skyrocketed. And I saw people, I don't know if this was because of the Toys That Made Us series or what, but, the secondary market for G.I. Joe Real American Hero went crazy. And it's like people are like, oh, I need this. All of a sudden, like, people just wanted to collect G.I. Joe again, or other lines. It happened with other lines, but I remember seeing specifically with G.I. Joe, and then, me as a vintage Star Wars collector, I see like it today, and again, I'm not one of those people that like the second I see something, I have to get it right then and there. It's like, I'm going to be patient about it. So right now, for those of you vintage Star Wars fans, the pain of collecting Power of the Force coins. Now, I'm only on the category 4 and 5 ones, which are the mail away ones, which are the really hard ones. And they come up here and there on eBay. It's not a super impossible thing to get, but, there are some coins people want over $1,000 for. And I'm like, I'm not spending that for that little coin. Like, it shouldn't be that way. And, there was this one seller who had a bunch of coins that I needed, and he had them for ridiculous prices. And I sent him a message. I said, hey, I'm interested in these 5 coins. Are you open to an offer? And he said, sure. So I sent my offer. He came back and, no, we're really far off. This is what I want. It was like, unbelievable. I said, all right, yeah, we're really far off. I said, the market's not there for them. And he said, well, come back when if you have second thoughts. I'm not gonna have second thoughts. How about you have second thoughts? And then I'm have them saved in my eBay feed. I'm watching them each day, every couple days. And he had them up. It's been, I think at this point, it's been at least 6 months. And it seems like every week he lowers the price a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And it got to the point where he lowered one enough for me to buy it. And I bought it thinking like, I'm going to get him to sell the other ones. And I said, listen, I said, I see you're coming down. I said, the market on Power of the Force coins is softening. It's like, that's why you're lowering the prices. We're still not there yet, but here's my offer. And he was like, no, turned it down. And he's still dropping little by little. So I'm just going to, I'm like, all right, fine. He's going to get to a point where he's going to keep dropping. But there are also sellers that never drop. I saw and I've showed it in our tour video, our Valaverse office tour video, which you should check out in our videos. And I had gotten the monsters in my pocket, like it was the volcano display. It was just a vac form black volcano that you sat the figures inside, stuck it on your wall. And there was one listed on eBay, and it was from a local store. The store is local to Rhode Island, but they an eBay store. I said, look, I'm local. I was like, you guys want to pay for shipping? I'll come to the warehouse. I'll pick it up. But, you know, I noticed it's been up for a while. Will you take an offer on it? And they're like, nope, that's the price. Like, okay. And that thing sat there for over a year till they finally came down like 10%, and I bought it. But even that I felt like was too high. But it's just like, you'd rather that thing just sit there and take up room in your warehouse and things like that. And then I see it shows. The shows are the worst. You go to conventions. And I've gone to so many conventions now that you see a lot of the same sellers there. And I see these sellers and they're peddling the same stuff. I see them bringing this one thing. I saw this one seller who is notorious for high prices. I'm not going to say who they are, but notorious for high prices. They had a Sectars playset. And it was in the box. And it was like signed by like the original creator, designer, or something like that. And it's huge. For those of you who've seen it, it's massive. It's a huge, massive box. And he wants something ridiculous for like $4 grand or $3 grand, something like that, like way over what it's worth. And he takes it every show. I've seen it for the last like 6 or 7 shows. I've seen it. And I'm just like, why do you keep bringing that thing? And two, like, it's such a niche fan base for that. Like, are you just waiting for that one person, that diamond in the rough that comes and wants to buy that? You've been to a lot of shows. I'm pretty sure you've seen the fan base. But also it's like, that's a vintage playset in a box. That thing, every time you take it to a show and you unpack it, it's wear and tear. It should be decreasing the value every show you take it to. It's not in the same condition it was last show or this show or any show. Like, it's different. Nope, still there. Harsh price. And I just don't get it. You know, I've been to conventions where I tried to go and, you know, the worst, this is my biggest pet peeve. The vendors that don't have prices marked. It's a dead giveaway. It's like, you are awful with your prices. Your prices are way too high, and you are a typical just nasty reseller. You go, and I see something, I'm like, I don't even want to ask what the price is, because I know I'm going to ask them that price. And it's like, they don't know what it is. They're just going to make it up on the spot, because they're just like, oh, I'm going to start really high, see what I can get them at. And it's just awful. How about just market? The price is, that's the price that I marked for the day. That's what I have it at. And then you negotiate from there. But they're just, it makes collecting so hard. I was at a show recently, and I was trying to fill some of my Batman comic gaps. And there's an issue 423. It's a very iconic Todd McFarlane cover where Batman's holding Vicky Vale. It's very iconic. Some reason that comic shot up in price, and it's now a $150 comic. And I said, when did that happen? The issues before it and the issues after it are like $3 to $5 comics. Are you saying it's rare because it's an iconic Todd McFarlane cover? Or the first Todd McFarlane cover? There's no key thing that happened in that issue. No one's first appearance or anything like that. It's just a Batman issue. But for some reason, the market feels like it's that. So I had a guy, his booth was next to mine, and I said, what's the price on that? And he said, $150. I was like, gee, I said, what happened with that book? He goes, I don't know, but I'm just following the market. That's the other problem, is if one person pays a certain price for something, they automatically think that sets the market price. Now, I am guilty of doing it with vintage Steel Brigades. I will take full credit for ruining Steel Brigades for you guys. I was collecting Steel Brigades. I have the world's largest collection. No one else has unseated me yet. At least I haven't been told. But there was a good 5 years when I was buying every single one that came on eBay. But then it got to the point where, like, right before COVID or during COVID, like, the market turned, and a steel brigade that I used to be able to get for $40 is now $80, and then $100. And then I was able to buy file cards for $30 to $40. Now it gets up to the point where the file card's almost $100 for a piece of paper. And I was like, I'm out of this game. I got my biggest collection. I'm out, but I think because it got to the point where maybe I was driving up the prices on some things, but then the market just thought, then that's the thing. You look at something. Now, I'm guilty of it. I go to a show, I'll look at something, I'll say, is that the right price? And I'll go on eBay and see the sold listings. But I never go with the first one I see. I try to look in what an average is. Okay, one just sold for 500, but what did the one before that? Oh, that one before it was 320. Okay, and then the one before that was 400. Okay, well, so you don't go with the 500. eBay's like, it kind of stinks that eBay is like, you go off that, but it's like, it's what we have to go by. I wondered how guys did it back in the day when they were going off toy price guides. Because who was making up those prices? But then it's like, I've used that against, some sellers in the past where they had something I wanted and say they had it listed for 400 and the last one sold for 275. I go and say, hey man, one just sold last week for 275. They don't care. Nope. They say, the classic story is, I'm into it for more than that. So it's like, are you really? Are you really? It's like, you've been peddling this thing for how long? When I bought the Mattel Clash of the Titans Kraken. That guy, I bought it from a guy at a show, and I saw him 3 previous shows, and first time I saw it, he had it for 500. The next show, he had it for 600. I was like, wait a second, you couldn't sell it for 5. Now you're selling it for 6? And then the following show, he had it for 4. And I said, listen, I've seen you in the last 3 years, same show, trying to peddle this thing. I was like, I'll give you, I don't know, $350 for it or something like that. And he was like, having a hard. Like, tell you what, was mad about it. But it's like, you weren't selling it for the last 3 years. So, to me, it's like, I know you want market value on things, but sometimes you just got to move. The name of the game is moving stuff. If you're someone who buys and flips houses, are you sitting on 10 houses? No, you're probably selling them because you can't just hold on to 10 houses. So you're going to hold on to this thing, the sector's playset? Like, no. Now, granted, it's like resellers, they make it easy to get stuff because you go to shows. Like, yeah, one of my favorite things is when I go to a show is shopping. But you shop, but a lot of times I don't buy a ton because the market's too ridiculous right now. I think things need to get a bit more under control. I think right now, especially with so much modern stuff on the market, things for you to buy, it makes vintage collecting hard because it's like we only have a finite amount of money. We're all not millionaires, so we can't just go and buy whatever for whatever price. It just makes it hard. So that's kind of my rant on resellers. I'm sure, some resellers are going to go in the comments and be like, you're wrong about X, Y, and Z, and we make things available for people. And if people are willing to pay the price, yeah, listen, man, if people are willing to pay the price, fine. But just because someone is willing to spend $1,200 on a Power of the Force coin doesn't mean that coin is actually worth it. That is worth it to that person. That's not the rest of the market. It's just not. So you can't gauge it that way. So, for those of you guys that share my thoughts, I'd love to hear it in comments. But yeah, we'll see what you think of this one. And let me know what you guys want for the next Valaverse Declassified. So I like doing these videos. I like kind of giving you my insight on things maybe not related to Valaverse and Action Force, but toy related nonetheless. But hey, I'm willing to talk about other things. So throw your ideas down in the comments below. Like and subscribe, put your notifications on, all that jazz. We got new content coming out every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So if you like the channel, make sure you're following it. Make sure you like the videos, and we'll love to hear what you think. So thanks for stopping by, guys. See you again.
You seen where the McFarlane Superpowers Black Manta from last year goes for $150 now?
Is it really? Isn't there a reverse flash that's really rare too?
Yeah, that one goes for about $100. Because I think they were Walmart exclusive.